Hello, and welcome all my business leaders. My name's Terrell Curry, founder and managing partner at Infinite Business Strategies, and I'd like to thank you for joining us on our Business Turbo Boost Tip of the Week. And this week, we'll be discussing the 8 forms of waste found in processes. You know, everything we do in life is part of some type of process, whether it's putting the kids to bed, doing the dishes, teaching a lesson in the classroom, preparing a customer's order, manufacturing a part, even approving a medication for a patient is part of a process. And all processes inherently have waste within them. You know, what separates the best-in-class processes from the rest is that there has been a conscious effort to eliminate the waste in the process and have as much value add in that process as possible. Today, we'll be discussing the 8 wastes that exist in processes. So, one of the acronyms that I use to remember those 8 wastes is an acronym called D.O.W.N.T.I.M.E, D.O.W.N.T.I.M.E. So we're going to be discussing those 8 wastes in that order. The first is defects. So I'm pretty sure that you don't plan to produce a product or service with defects and problems in them, do you? I mean, plain and simple, where there are defects, there's opportunity. You know, I treat defects as a red flag to waste, begging for your attention. You know, they can be easily measured and associated with your profit and loss. So you must eliminate defects from your processes. The second waste that we're going to discuss is overproduction. That's the O in the downtime. You know, when I walk through a facility, I see inventory between operations in the corners, up on the shelves, or even in the corner collecting dust. But that's all opportunity. Overproduction is opportunity. Why make more than what you need? You're paying those individuals to produce more. You're incurring the cost of what it takes to produce more. So that is also opportunity. You may think that having extra is okay. And in some cases, having extra is required. But are you calculating the need that you have? You know, there are methodologies to calculate production needs and required cycle times to accommodate customer demand versus the lead time that it takes you to get the customer what they're paying for. Anything above the calculated amount is considered waste. And waste equals dollars. The third waste that we're going to discuss is the W in that downtime acronym, and that's waiting. You know, at my first job when I was 16, I had one of the managers tell the team that if you had time to lean, you had time to clean. And my takeaway from that is that time waiting can be utilized. Why waste that time waiting when you could be accomplishing something else? If there's waiting in your processes, there's opportunity. If you believe that time is money, and you should, why waste money waiting? That brings us to the fourth waste that we're going to discuss, and that's the N in that acronym, and that's non-utilized talent. Non-utilized talent. You know, this concept is self-explanatory, but if you have ever calculated the cost of low talent retention, I mean, best-in-class companies have been focusing on the power of diversity, equity, and inclusion lately. Not only because it's the right thing to do, because it makes financial sense to remove this waste. Why not utilize the talent that you already have in your 4 walls? Why not ask those individuals, what does it take to make this process better? What does it take for your job to be better? What ideas do you have? What feedback can you give us? That's untapped potential that most waste. That brings us to the 5th waste, the T in the acronym, and that's transportation. The waste of transportation is another waste that's mostly overlooked by most companies. You know, if you observe how many times a person walks back and forth to transport things to their job just so they can complete their job, is that not waste? I mean, I once had a team follow a forklift driver around in a warehouse and log the distance and time spent moving the same material back and forth. I mean, it was nothing short of alarming. I mean, we were able, by just taking away some of the wasted motions, taking away some of the wasted transportations, and moving some of the material where it should be in the first place, just with a little bit of planning, we reduced that person's workload by 75%. I mean, that's 75% more time they had to do something else and to be more productive. They felt more productive. We felt more productive with the process, and things couldn't do anything but get better. And the 6th waste that I in the acronym is inventory. So are you familiar with WIP? WIP? That's the acronym for work in process. Do you understand how it affects your process lead time or how long it takes for you to get a final product or complete that service that you're providing? WIP is some of what makes up total inventory, and you can assign a dollar value to your inventory. Now, most people believe that inventory is necessary. You have to have it. Well, absolutely. But you have to have it in the right quantities because there's a dollar amount associated with it. I had one of my clients that owns a restaurant/club. He realized that he had an extra $12,000 tied up in excess inventory. I'm going to repeat that. $12,000 in inventory that was not needed. Now, could he use it? He absolutely could. But some of it had a shelf life. Some of it he had to throw away if it sat around too long. So we actually helped him calculate what was needed. And what was left over was $12,000 worth of excess waste. Now, when I asked him what he's going to do with that extra $12,000, he named at least 10 things that he would do to improve his business immediately. All from us just identifying a waste and eliminating it. The seventh waste, that M in the acronym, is motion. So many look at transportation and motion, those two wastes, as similar wastes, but they are a little bit, but they're different. And the way I differentiate them is by looking at an individual motions, a person, what they're doing versus what they can be doing. So let me give you an example. Look at how many times and the amount of time a person has to bend at the waist, turn their body around, or have an extended reach to get something. I know in manufacturing, it's real easy to see when you go around and you see a person reaching for that tool, or they have to go walk somewhere to get it, or have to bend down to the floor. Not only is it an ergonomic issue, it's an opportunity. So when I walk around a facility, when I walk into a restaurant, when I walk into a store, and I see these unused motions, these motions that have no value, I see nothing but opportunity. That brings us to the eighth and final waste. In the acronym, it's the E, and that's excess processing. Do you think it's a waste to check something over and over again? I mean, would your customers want to pay for what you do over and over again? You double checking and checking over and over again? They're not willing to pay for that. So would they see it as waste? If they see it as waste, you should see it as waste. What if you could always do things right the first time? That's a novel idea, right? Wherever you see checks and double checks, you should be like me and see nothing but opportunities. That's what we do. Great companies are always improving. All waste is considered non-value added activity. Non-value added from the customer's perspective, from the business perspective, and from your perspective. So you must eliminate that waste. And that's what these best-in-class companies do. What are you and your team doing to identify and eliminate waste? I mean, do you have a step-by-step methodology to improve? That's what these best-in-class companies do. Well, I always say that you don't have to be the expert. And I know you can finish this. You just have to know the expert. Well, we can help. Here at Infinite Business Strategies, we know how to run waste. You know what? One of my most popular workshops is actually us mapping out the current state and the future state. And for us to get from the current state and the future state, I do what I call a waste walk through the process. Now, we're not actually going in walking, but we're actually walking through the process step by step and eliminating the waste that we identify. And we're highlighting the value added, and we're making sure that we use those value added activities so there's a higher percentage of value added activities in the future state. Well, we can help you do that as well. So I encourage you to schedule a free one-on-one consultation. You can go to my website, infinitebusinessstrategies.com. At the bottom of any page, you can schedule a free one-on-one consultation so we can talk about how we can best help you. Whether that's joining us in one of our hosted strategy workshops that we're performing now in over 7 cities and virtually, or is having us come out to your facility for an on-site maturity assessment where we assess you on many different other types of things that you can do to improve your business, and we help you prioritize that improvement activities. I'd like to thank you again for joining us, and this has been an Infinite Business Strategies Turbo Boost Tip of the Week. Thank you.